Don't talk to me or my kids that way, young man. Know your manners.
r/Entitled Parents. Our first story we'll be reading today, entitled Aunt Stays With Me and Husband, Makes Us Both Angry, from user Parakeet Gamer 95. After that, Lifeguard equals Babysitter, from user Jixchul 916. And then we'll be wrapping up with I Have Never Been So Scared in My Life, from user Holly Goldhard. Thank you so much to our authors for letting us read your stories. And if you're an author who would like me to read your stories next, please submit them to the r/Mr. Reddit subreddit. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories every single day. Entitled Aunt Stays With Me and Husband, Makes Us Both Angry. Hello, Mr. Reddit and the Army. I'm a longtime fan and decided to post this recent story. English is my first language, so please feel free to correct any spelling errors. I'm also on mobile, so I'm sorry for formatting. Some backstory. I have an aunt who is very entitled and mean. She has 2 spawns of her own. They're 6 and 5, and she despises my twin daughters. My husband has never liked her, and neither have I. She usually stays for a week every month or 2. The cast. We've got me. We've got husband. We've got Aunt Karen. We've got Spawn 1 and Spawn 2. Lydia and Luna, 2 daughters. The story. I was preparing for Aunt Karen's visit when she already came to the door, 2 hours early. My husband was outside working on the backyard while I was inside doing housework.
Hello. I told you I would be coming at 4. Why isn't anything prepared?
You said you were coming for 6, and could you please keep your voice down? During this time, Lydia and Luna were taking a nap in their room and would get very cranky if someone woke them up. I see Aunt Karen's kids run down the hall, making a lot of noise. I cringed and prayed the twins would not wake up. Me. What did I just say? Keep it down. I don't want to wake up the babies. My daughters are both 1. Spawn 1.
Do you have anything fun? This place is boring.
Spawn 2.
Yeah, find something for us to play with.
Find something fun for them, now.
At this time, my husband comes walking inside and notices Aunt Karen. He knows she's already causing trouble. Husband. Aunt Karen, she's asked before. Please keep it down or the kids will wake up. If they need entertainment, get them a book. I can't get them the Nintendo Switch out since it's still packed away in boxes.
Don't talk to me or my kids like that, young man. Know your manners.
I see my husband cringe as Lydia and Luna both wake up and are now crying. I run into their room and calm them down easily and let them wander around and play. My husband watched them while I was in the kitchen making dinner, and then one of the spawns started bugging me.
What are you doing?
I'm making dinner for everyone. Duh.
Why can't you go and buy it? I'm hungry now.
It won't take long. Have some patience. I walk back into the living room where I see Spawn 2 making Lydia angry. She was just learning to walk. She hates getting help, and the brat shoved her down. Husband. Hey, why did you do that? She never did anything to you. Don't be mean. Aunt Karen storms over to husband and smacks his head. If she wasn't angry before, she was now.
How dare you talk to him like that? He was just playing.
Now, when Lydia gets scared or shy, she crawls or walks over and gets me or her dad to pick her up. And that's exactly what she did. I lifted her up and scooped her into my arms, and she fell asleep quickly. I walked her back into her room and set her down in her crib to take another nap. She sleeps a lot, and I see Aunt Karen's spawns glaring at me.
Why did you put her in there?
Lydia fell asleep, so I put her in her crib for a nap. Please do not bug her. Even though she sleeps a lot, she's still a light sleeper.
Fine. This place is still boring.
Husband calling out from the living room. Read a book and quit complaining. A few hours later, I was in the living room watching my kids when Aunt Karen comes out with a ton of snacks that I bought. She went into a rage when she saw the way my kids were playing.
Wow! How can you even be a parent if you're raising your kids to be that violent? You are a terrible mother.
I know I was raising my kids right. My daughters love to play wrestle with each other, and it never gets bad. Me. And you're any better? Teaching your kids to be annoying and greedy?
Don't talk to your elders like that.
Okay, senior citizen. Aunt Karen got so angry, she left 2 days early. But her kids got harsh with my kids. On the last night, my husband was out for a car ride with Luna while Lydia stayed with me. The two spawns ended up scaring her after she ratted them out to me. The first thing she could think of was to yell her first word.
Mama!
When I heard that yell, all I did was bolt into that room and screamed at the two spawns and kicked Aunt Karen and her spawn out. They are never bothering me again. Next we've got lifeguard equals babysitter. Good afternoon, Mr. Reddit and the Re-Army. I love your videos on YouTube. Feel free to use this one if you choose to. Today, I was reminded of my time as a lifeguard as I drove past my old workplace, and boy has it changed. Too long didn't read at bottom, and sorry for the length. From the age of 15 to 17, I worked as a lifeguard at a resort, which is in reality an RV and campground that is members only and open year-round. We had an outdoor man-made beach and indoor pool, a pro shop for the putt-putt and tennis equipment, bumper boats, and a water slide, all of which us lifeguards oversaw. Because it is members only, you can imagine the entitlement of said members. Bonus to working there, however, is being able to bring guests on days off. Now, my manager and the owner of this resort knew, even at 15, I did not take crap from anyone, and very little intimidated me. They also knew I was a smarty and would follow exactly what was asked of me, such as the owner once shaking an empty soda can at me and asking me to bring another. He got another empty soda can, but I digress. Our rules were clear. Kids 10 and under had to have a parent with them. Under 6, they had to be in the water with them if they could pass a swim test. Many parents tried to just leave the kids since there was also the no alcohol at the beach. One parent, however, wins the Mom of the Day award. This mother placed her 2-year-old twin boys at the base of my chair. They were adorable and well-behaved. Then she left hurriedly before anyone could call her back to her kids. Great, one of these. I radio another lifeguard to relieve me, and luckily this chair is very close to the pro shop, so another guard came right over. I told them the situation, then jumped off the chair as they briefly took over. I took both boys and all their toys and took them to the manager at the clubhouse. I explained the situation to him. He took over watching them. I am not a personal babysitter. An hour and a half later, I am back at the chair where she dropped them off. We rotated every 15 minutes from the beach to the pro shop, so the cast is easy enough. Me, entitled mom, and manager. Entitled mom, not seeing her kids, comes running up to my chair, screaming at the top of her lungs.
My babies, my precious babies, where are they?
Now, I can understand her panic. I would have too. Ma'am, your kids are at the clubhouse. They're perfectly safe. I radioed another guard to come relieve me while entitled mom revs up to let me have it. Now, I am a tall gal and rather broad-shouldered due to swim team and have a harsh voice, so most often I seem intimidating and don't get much entitlement from the members. I also have the rep as the mean lifeguard.
How dare you take my kids to someone I don't even know?
I honestly couldn't believe she said this. Ma'am, you left your kids at the base of my chair, and you didn't know me.
It's your job to watch them.
No, ma'am. It is your job to watch your kids. I'm a lifeguard, not a babysitter. Kids must have a parent present while on the beach. Please follow me. I began to lead her to the clubhouse, ignoring her threats of having my job muttered behind me, as well as muttering of disrespectful teens. Sir, this is the mother of the twins. Ma'am, this is the resort manager. Please feel free to attempt to get me fired. I guess this last line took her off guard, as she didn't lead off with, I want her fired.
This girl took my kids and placed them in the care of a stranger. She had no right.
Manager. Jix, return to your station. I will take care of this. At the end of the day, I learned the consequences. This lady had left her precious babies to go to the liquor store in the town about 20 minutes away. She did want me fired, but the manager told her I did my job in protecting the kids and that his employees are not her babysitters. She was told she would be banned from our resort if she had another incident reported. I was not reprimanded and did not see this woman again that summer, but was told she only went to the beach when the mean lifeguard wasn't working. Dad, however, brought the boys often, and they were great kids. Next we've got, I have never been so scared in my life. Hello, Mr. Reddit and the Re-Army. I wanted to thank you, Mr. Reddit, for reading my story. I nearly cried when I heard the title read out, and I was happy all day afterwards. So, thanks for making my day. This is an old story from when I used to work at a movie theater, and I felt I needed to share it with you guys. I will warn that this story is a bit of a two-parter, as I have another story at the start. You can skip it if you want to, if this post is too long. As normal, English is my first language. I just type too fast sometimes, and my brain likes to mess with me. Sorry for any bad formatting. So, some background. About a year or two ago, I used to work at a movie theater on the Las Vegas Strip. It was a very small theater that was very well hidden, and not many people knew about it. But being on the Strip, we for sure got our fair share of difficult people. I remember my first day there. A foreigner accused my coworker of stealing their phone when they had left it in the bathroom, and my coworker happened to find it and was intending to give it to a manager. And when the foreigner finished his movie, he tried to talk to me, to which I said, I can't help you, sir. I'm new. He told me I was being rude and went to my other coworker that was there. My coworker called the manager, and the manager came down. The man started ripping into my manager, claiming my coworker who had found the phone was a thief and that all the employees were thieves. Thankfully, my manager got the man to leave, but of course, he was shouting as he walked out. I should have figured then that was something I should have come to expect from people on the Strip, but I was only 18 at the time. I'm 19 when this story starts. Anyway, here's the story where I was scared half to death by a customer. Now, I had been at the theater for about a yearish now, I think. I don't remember much. It is a blur, to be honest. Anyway, I know my job pretty well at this point. Now, at my theater, you were assigned a job for the day, and the jobs were combined. So if you were box, you were also concessions, and if you were door, ticket checker, you were also the theater checker, person that went into the theater and counted the people, and the usher, cleaner. Well, normally if someone leaves an item in a theater and comes back for it, it is the door person's job to go with the person to find their lost item. But this day I am talking about is a bit different. Just so it's easy to read. We've got coworker, we've got difficult man, we've got manager, and we've got me. So the story starts like this. I'm doing my job as door for that day, checking theaters and cleaning them when it is time to do so. Well, sometimes when I go in to clean a theater, there are people still in their seats. So what I would normally do is walk up and down either side of them to check if trash was around them. The theater I worked at had sloping seating. Well, I walk into Theater 3 to clean it after all the people had left, or so I thought. I go in and see the difficult man still in his seat. Side note, this theater I worked at was never really that busy, so sometimes I'd go to clean theaters and there was nothing to clean, but it was still good to check anyways. I try not to bother difficult man as I see him on his phone. So I clean what trash I find, then I walk up and down the side pathways to look around difficult man's feet to see if there was any trash, and there wasn't. I was also about 5 to 8 feet away from difficult man. That will be important later. Well, I leave the theater thinking I am done with that. I was wrong. Difficult man left the theater just a bit after I did. Not even a moment later, difficult man comes back around the corner and tells me he forgot his headphones in the theater. Now my instinct is to help him find his headphones because as the door person, it was part of my job. But as I am walking to head to the theater, I see my coworker come from the concession stand and head into the theater. Side note, my coworker was the kind of guy that was nice sometimes, but would also point out something really mean. I called him the lovable jerk. Not the real word I used, but I want to keep this clean for Mr. Reddit. And he loved it. This incident was where his lovable side came out. I still follow my coworker into the theater, thinking 3 sets of eyes are better than 2, right? So we started looking for the headphones. I have my phone flashlight on looking for them because our theaters were very dimly lit, even though this theater was the brightest one. Difficult man tells me and coworker that his headphones he lost were Beats headphones, so I started looking for a black pair because those were the only kind of Beats I had seen and knew about. I didn't really think to ask what color they were, so I guess that is my bad. I didn't even know how it got to what happened next. The next thing I know, difficult man is asking who cleaned the theater. I told him I did, and I didn't find any headphones. Big mistake, because in the same breath, he started demanding I give him his headphones back and claimed I stole them. Now, remember how I said I was nowhere near this man when I cleaned the theater? Yeah, I told him that too. I vaguely remember telling him as he shined a flashlight in my face, "Sir, I don't have your headphones. I was never near you when I cleaned the theater." But he wasn't having it. He just kept going on and on about how I took them. Then my coworker, thank goodness, stepped in and told me to just leave with him. Difficult man tried to tell us to stop and not to leave the theater, but we ignored him. Bad idea. Difficult man comes out of the theater and stops my coworker and I. And I'm already pretty scared at this point. Difficult man was bigger than me and had way more muscle and was very angry, so my voice and body were starting to shake. Difficult man started yelling at me about how I stole his headphones and hid them in my little door stand and blah blah blah. My coworker was trying to get this man to stop, but nothing worked. But my manager heard the yelling and came over. This is what I remember was said. Manager: "Why are you yelling at my employee?" Difficult man: "She stole my headphones and won't give them back." "I didn't, sir. I was too far from you when I cleaned the theater, and I didn't see anything. I was seriously at least 5 to 8 feet from this guy when I went to clean the theater he was in."
You're lying. You have them in the stand.
"Stop yelling at my employee. Do you see them on her?" "No. So she doesn't have them. And she says she doesn't have them, so leave her alone." At this, difficult man goes back into the theater and my manager tells me to come into the concession stand. I am visibly shaken at this point, and I feel like crying because I thought difficult man was going to hit me. It was that scary. A few seconds pass by, and difficult man comes back up to the front to yell at me some more. Luckily, my manager was there and told him to knock it off and to leave me alone. He goes away back into the theater, and it is at this point my manager calls security. Right as security arrives, Difficult Man finds his white headphones and leaves. My manager later told me that she could tell he was trouble from the start. I was so scared from him yelling at me, I even told my coworker that I thought he was going to hit me. My coworker, bless the lovable side, told me it would have never gotten that far, but I was still very shaken. I'm glad I've never had to deal with something like that again. I never want to either. And if I had not had my coworker and manager there, I think I would have been doomed. Thank gosh for people who aid others. Thanks for reading. And sub to Mr. Reddit. And congrats to our re-generals of the day, Rachel, Tobias, Team.exe, and CJ Rocksteady. Become tomorrow's re-generals by dropping as many re's as you can in the comments below.